Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pone here, and we're bringing you another real talk. This one's not going to be, too deep or emotional or anything. On a scale of like 1 to 10 in deepness, we're going to go like 3. That's like vagina deep or something. 10 being like Grand Canyon. So it's not going to be like the biggest thing in the world, but it's one that my subscriber mentioned. And I want to thank Elliot, who I was just talking to on Facebook. He messaged me and he's like, dude, I've never lived in the ghetto. I don't know anything about struggle. So, he asked me to make this video for him. So I actually decided to go ahead and do it. And I'm not had the best day in the world, which is proper mood for me making one of these goddamn things. So, you know what, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about this. And you could be the judge, Some of you guys may consider this kind of stuff ghetto. Some may not. So, I know there's a lot worse out there. Don't get me wrong. But, I'm going to be a bit of everywhere in here. Actually, I'll give you some stories. First off thing. I lived in the first house for the longest, 14, 15 years or so, 16 years, something like that. I lived right in the middle of that. Pretty much, there were like 4 other white families on in the block, and other than that, we were all like in one pack too, and we all hated each other. Really bad neighbors. One of the guys actually assaulted my mom. Years back, I was 10, 11 years old, too young to do anything about it. I would have murdered him easy. That was the one moment where anger really got to me. It was like a phase. I've never had it before. When I saw my mom just get picked up and thrown and yeah, just assaulted, it was it put a different feeling in you. I really can't explain it. I literally like blacked out for a minute. It's like my life skipped the next 2 minutes. Apparently, that was the first time I cussed, and I don't recall it, so I'm pissed about that shit. So, it's just where the bad issues started with the neighborhood. They ended up, lying about the whole thing. I ended up getting community service for it and saying I fucked up their car, which had, rust in every one of the dents, and I did it from driveway to driveway. And apparently I dented all 4 sides of their car because I got fucking, I don't know what that is. I've got fucking flak jacket, some shit, major ass fucking crazy ass shit going on. I don't know how I did it. Not flak jacket, full, oh my god, fuck it all. Fuck it all. Fuck it all. I meant FMJ, just so we're clear. And, what I wanted to talk about is basically what I've grown up. I was always like the one white kid in school. There were like 2 or 3 other kids. Not saying that you have to be black to be in the ghetto, but actually, it's probably close to actually being that way. Black is pretty much ghetto because if it's a bunch of white people, they're just trailer trash. You know what I mean? So you think ghetto, you think black people. I'm not trying to be racist, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are like a few of you guys like, oh my, he's just stepping over the line. I'm not racist at all, guys. All my friends, first couple girlfriends, all black. I'm not a racist guy at all. I hate everybody equally, just so we're fucking clear. So we're good. And I just crack into it. Like I've had some random moments. Guys are like, oh, what do you mean you've had a gun held on you? I've had a gun held to my head had a gun pulled on me numerous times, but I've had one like to my head like 4 times. And it's always a good thing, and we'll get started. I was a little younger. I was roughly 14, 15 years old, drunk, he's probably late 30s, early 40s. Drunk guy, he's some random old guy. Yeah, he's probably a crackhead. He was really scrawny. I could tell he was drunk, high off his ass, something. And, I'm just riding my little mongoose. I was the shit, just bought the new mongoose. I was back in the phase where the mongoose were the motherfucking shit. So I bought a nice little mongoose. I was driving it around. You're not driving it because I don't have my fucking license. So I was strolling like a bitch. And middle of the day, too. It was 3, 4 in the middle of the day. It was like on a Saturday or something. I was riding down the street, and this guy just comes out, asks me, do I have like $1 or something? And, I don't mind helping people out occasionally. If it's like $5, fuck that shit. I'm not paying for you to get drunk. But, he asked for $1, so I stopped. I was going to give the dude $1. And, he tries to snag my bike and starts fucking trying to roll off with it. And I just fucking pop him right in the face. That was like the first physical, like, contact I've had with, people in my neighborhood. I mean, shit's happened before where, people have, tried to rob me, and I've been jumped and shit like that. People trying to rob me, I've always been stupid, which is just not what you guys should do. I've always refused to give up my wallet, anything like that. You can shoot me before I let somebody punk me around like that. I won't fucking happen. Now, it'd be different if, like, Amanda was with me. I'd be worrying about her safety. Me, I don't give a fuck. Tip me all you want. I don't care. And, so I've probably been, in that neighborhood alone, I've probably been, somebody's probably tried to rob me, I'd say about 3 times. And then there was another neighborhood I'd always hang out with my buddies in, and I remember one day in specific, because it really pissed me off. One day specific, it was the day before Halloween. I was out stealing pumpkins because, I love making pumpkin seeds. It's my shit. So I was out stealing pumpkins. Nobody fucking needs their pumpkins. You have them out there, not even carved. So we went out there, stole some pumpkins. I had this big-ass backpack on with a fucking huge-ass fucking afterbirth on my damn back. I felt like fucking the Hunchback, dude. And then some random, these 4 random black kids come up. I was what, 18? They were probably about my age, 17, something like that. One of them comes up and tries to sneak me, which, for you white people out there, he came up out of nowhere and tried to punch me from behind, if that is proper English for you guys, you Yale graduates. So, that's what happened, and he came up, just popped me from the side, and, I heard him coming, loud-ass footsteps. He had some Timberlands on, and he was loud as fuck. I mean, that was, he needs that fucking Ninja Pro, you know what I'm saying? So, what happened, he's come up, and he completely missed, but before I could do anything and get the backpack off, my dude Josh, the one that's in the Navy right now, my best friend, he had his shirt off, jeans down, he was sitting there in his ball shorts, scrawny motherfucker, but he can hit fast as fuck, dude. I'm heavy-handed, but he's like a fucking little train that could, man. He's like a goddamn monster. And he just fucked this dude up. This dude actually turns out to be the fucking fullback to the football team that's like one of the most notorious bad schools around here. And he got his shit just pushed in. It like echoed the trees. I love that shit. So then, and we had another friend with us at the time. He was a younger kid. And then I started to go after the taller guy, which there were 4 of them total. 4 black guys, and then just us 3 random white kids walking down the street. It was 9, 10 o'clock. That's not too late, not too many bad things happen at 9, 10 o'clock. It's usually like 2, 3 in the morning, some shit like that. And, we're out in the neighborhood. Nothing like this has ever happened to us before. I mean, nothing like bad, like completely random, Halloween type shit, pre-Halloween shit. And, I guess they just come after us, and, that happened. I go after the tall dude, just instinct, because I know I'm with another dude. He was 15 at the time. He was a young kid. He was scrawny. He's like a wrestler. He's like weighs like 110, 120. Small little kid, and he was a good friend of mine. So my instinct is obviously take out the biggest threat. So I went after the big dude, and this is the motherfucker that's got the goddamn gun. Why is the biggest motherfucker there got the gun? That makes no sense to me. Not the fat little short kid, not the average built guy. The biggest dude there's got the gun. How does that make any fucking sense? So at that point, I turned the fuck around, put my backpack on, and I was like, nice gun. What is that, buddy? What is that? I'll ask FPS Russia. He'll tell me what it is. Come over there and fucking tannerite your ass, fucker. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to, deal with it or anything like that. So, I just bitched off. I'm like, I ain't fucking with a gun, man. I don't give a fuck. I sat back, popped some popcorn, watched my dude beat the other dude's ass, and it turned out great. We walked on our way, had backup. We ended up finding the kids later on, and, well, that's enough said. So, and that's one of those moments. That's just the kind of shit I've always dealt with. Just random drama always finds me in the neighborhood, and that's what happened. And there's one moment in particular. I was going to this fucking prep school I'd never been to before. It's a Catholic school. I've never been around so many white people on the first day. I cried the first day going to school. I've never been around white people, like no joke. And there was all these white girls in skirts and white guys in ties, and that ain't me. And I was going to the school, and I see all these guys all dressed up preppy and everything, and I'm like, my first day, freshman year, I didn't want to do it. And my aunt, looks back at me, right, we're sitting there in her Trailblazer or whatever, she turns around and looks at me and goes, Dusty. I'm like, what's up, Teet? And she goes, girls in skirts aren't a bad thing. And at that point, I sucked it up, and I said, you know what, I can merge with these white people, I can do it. So I go in there, you start off, and then that's where I started, fucking off in school and everything like that. I blame white people for that, so we'll go with that. Damn you, white people, and crackers. And that's what happened with me, and then that's what was my weird transition into high school. And I was walking home one day. It's like a straight shot down the street. I was going home one day, and it was just a typical day. I get in, and I get into my door, and then I hear all these gunshots. Turns out, by the period that I walked to my door, I remember this day. For every bit of my life, this is the one day out of all the neighborhood violence I've been a part, the one day that I remember. There was a woman that was pushing her baby, just, random stroller down the street, right on the corner. And right there on the corner of my street turned on, and it was a drive-by, and I dealt with that shit. I mean, I've seen there was a dude that we ended up seeing on the way to school, like, or I was going over to the bus and stabbed. He managed to get away from the apartments and bleed out on our corner. I mean, I've seen my fair share of weird shit and violence. People shoot. It's not as bad as everybody's shooting up the houses all the time. I mean, that shit happens. There's 4 guns and 4 pit bulls for every fucking house down the street, but it's got its fair share of weird shit. But that day will never fucking elude me. I still think about it every fucking day, and it's sad because, I just walked into my door and I hear all the gunshots, and it turns out it's probably some random gang initiation or something. And some guy, just hangs out the door and just sprays this woman with some, I think it was an Uzi, unless he was a tryhard, it was a 74U, and I don't remember. And all jokes aside, I can't ever forget that day. That's the one day. I have a very bad memory, but I remember that day, and they just drive by, and the dude just sprays out the passenger window and aiming for the mom. You know what I mean? Just a target. So that's just like an initiation. You know what I mean? You have to kill somebody to get in, and apparently that shows how much of a fucking boss you are. And completely missed the woman and killed the baby. What are the odds to kill the baby in a stroller? A tiny little infant. You killed the baby. And the mom survived. I mean, I don't know what it is, man. I mean, what are the odds? That's a full-grown standing woman. You know what I mean? And then the baby in the little stroller. And that bothered me, you know what I mean? That bothered me, the fact that, what are the odds that happened? But then I go back and I think that I just walked in my door literally a minute earlier, and that would have been me. And that's the one thing that I do remember, is that I was grateful. And that moment I still remember. I don't think I've told anybody that moment besides my mom. I don't think I've even told Amanda that. And I remember that moment every day. I remember the news. I remember how fucked up that was. And, this woman, I didn't know her, but she had a baby, you know what I mean? Baby was just drive-by and active. I feel so bad for that woman, and everything taken away from you just like that, and you'd have done anything to make sure that was you instead of your kid. And that's hard enough right there. And just to remember, that put me, and that made me think so many things. I mean, I was thinking why, at first I was like, oh, I'm grateful that wasn't me, you know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, I'm like, what would I have given to make sure that was me, so that baby could have grown up with a mom, and that mom wouldn't have been, without that kid. You know what I mean? I'd easily make that sacrifice. I don't even know them people, but that's a family, and, I've never thought of myself as important or anything like that, but I think in that situation, I know it sounds weird, but, I can't ever get that one thing out of my head, guys, and it's always been in there. And, what if it was a minute earlier? It would have been me, kind of thing. And I don't know. It's always been rough on me. It's been sitting on my head. So, I don't have the worst living environment in the world. For instance, mom last week, not last week, but about 2 months ago, somebody carjacked her, sitting in the back of the van. She was going to get my little brother some ear medicine. He had an ear infection. The dude was sitting in the back of the van, literally 2 months ago, sitting in the back of the van, came up, had a gun on her, made her drive him around for 2 hours, all these different crack houses and everything, stole her credit card, stole her engagement ring, stole everything from her, and made her drive him around for 2 hours, 2 motherfucking hours. You know what it's like? I've had a gun to my head for like 10 seconds, minute, you know what I'm saying? That minute feels like forever, but I've had it. I couldn't imagine the concentration and the fear that was in my mom's mind for 2 fucking hours. Your life is out of your control when you got a gun to your head, you know what I'm saying? And for some, cracked out dude to use all your money, have your mom kidnapped. I can never forget the look on my mom's face when she was assaulted and when she came home crying. I was on my way to get Chipotle. It just shows you how your day is so great, and one little thing could snap and you're fucked. You don't know what to do. And that's where I was stuck at on that day. I can remember that was only a couple months ago, and that was a really, really rough day for her. She's never been through something like that before. She's been robbed once before, like at a store, but and I've had a gun on me a few other times. It's always, it gets the adrenaline around. It doesn't scare me anymore. After the first few times, it didn't scare me, but it gets the adrenaline pumping, and you get the whole what if thing, guys. But this video's wrapping up. This is way too fucking long already, and I don't know. You guys just give me your thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think about this, and if you guys want another real talk, hit me up.